That Biden questions on health risks being real distraction. U.S. President Joe Biden gave his first TV interview on Sunday since withdrawing from the presidential election race, saying his decision stemmed from a desire to see his Republican rival Donald Trump beaten. Biden pulled out of a bid for a second term in the White House last month amid growing concerns about his age, health, and mental acuity. During a short interview with CBS recorded last week at the White House, Biden said he faced pressure from fellow Democrats about his chances of winning the U.S. election. What happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought I was going to hurt them, and I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic you'd be interviewing me about, Biden said. I thought I'd be a real distraction, he said, and that this main priority was to beat Trump and see him not win a second term. The president admitted his performance against Trump in the first TV debate in late June had been a failure, but stressed that health-wise, he has no serious problem. So, really, when we look at it, I mean, I'm listening to the interview, and one thing that really stuck out to me, he was like, what brought me back into politics after I had left being the vice president was pretty much the fact that what I saw was the Charlottesville, what happened in Charlottesville when the girl got killed in Charlottesville, the guy mowed down all those protesters in the car. When everyone wants to act like Charlottesville was just nothing, like these type of events that are happening were just like they gloss them over. They gloss over January 6th as well. This is me speaking now, but and at the same
glossed over the Buffalo massacre of the black folks, the one
the church,
yeah.
Yes, I mean, so and at the same time, then he also said that the next thing was he said also, if we really look at it, was after for January 6th. That's not what made him run. I'm not saying that part, but he was like, you look at it, he said at that point in time, they start coming outside without their hoods on. He said the KKK started coming outside without their hoods. They were emboldened by this president. He said this is what made him, these other events were what made him, push forward in running for the White House. In which, I mean, I felt like Joe Biden, like I always say this all the time, I feel like he gave it his all. He came in for the last 4 years. I'm not saying like, oh, he just tried his best. I'm going to say he tried his best to make sure that, I mean, health-wise.
Yeah, I mean, Democrats don't like open racism. They like to do it slickly. Yeah. I mean, like, there was the Grand Wizard of the KKK, Richard Byrd's funeral. I mean, Joe Biden was giving a speech there.
He wasn't the Grand Wizard, but he was a part of the KKK. That's a fact.
Close enough.
That's a fact. He was in the KKK.
Group them all together.
You know what I mean? Robert Byrd was definitely in there.
Young Thug's a criminal. They look at me as a criminal. So hey, Robert Byrd was part of the KKK. Grand Wizard.
He was like one of the chapter leads or some shit like that. Pretty much a chapter KKK. Pretty much a chapter Grand Wizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just the leader of the chapter.
But at the same time though, we got guys like Trump coming in speaking about Kamala Harris and her crowd sizes, and he thinks that she's faking.
Why is he always on this crowd size thing?
I guess because he's a television host. He's a television show host, and we all act like he's not. We all act like he's really.
Our crowd was bigger than MLK's. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't even close. And at the same time, he's speaking about that. He's like, he has people believing that she had a picture of a crowd outside of her plane.
Yo, I say this all the time, and shout out to my family that does this. If you can make grown adults in America believe wrestling is real, you can make them believe anything.
You can make them believe anything. I see him at the wrestling.
They had the picture of Kamala. She had a speech in the same place he had it, and she had the top rafters filled up, and he did not. Mm-hmm. Now, did they take the picture before he was speaking or after? But
I'm gonna tell you like this right now, man. Her crowds are really big. She's doing her thing right now. I think she's energized mostly too because the world is energized against Trump, but at the same time, she's a woman.
Yeah,
a black woman at that. Again,
well, I mean, she's a woman. You got so much at stake for women these times. I mean, last time,
huge.
What happened? I mean, we got an article on that. I'm gonna speak on in a minute, but
yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, it's like he keeps on harping on this, but he's not even out campaigning as much as he normally would. He's getting a lot of questions about that. He actually snapped and said, "Ladies, that's a stupid question." You know what I'm saying? Basically, flashed on a journalist about them asking him about whether or not that, hey, do you look at this as, why are you not campaigning? And I'm sitting here listening to him. I'm like, dang, they're like, he's not getting out to as many battleground states. He's just not campaigning as much as he was.
Well, they're trying to say that he already went to those battleground states. But I mean, he was out campaigning last weekend. Donald Trump had been traveling to campaign events on the jet that was previously owned by convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The former president, usual mode of transportation, a Boeing 757 jet nicknamed Trump Force One, was temporarily grounded on Friday following what was described by the Secret Service as a mechanical issue that forced him to land in Billings, Montana. After appearing at a campaign rally in Bozeman, Montana, Trump chartered a smaller Gulfstream that was once owned by Epstein, the disgraced financial who was found dead in a New York prison cell in 2019 while awaiting trial for sex trafficking. He used that 16-passenger jet to fly from Montana to a private fundraiser in Jackson, Wyoming, and then Aspen, Colorado. Now, so he is, and we had to put that in the middle of the article because if we say his name or put that stuff in the article, they make sure you don't see this. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm wondering, did his campaign know this?
Oh, they knew.
I mean, you got to kind of like know these type of things. You can't have those two names attached because they're already attached. They already have paperwork with his name on it.
Like, hey, I know this plane.
I've been here before.
He'd be like, hey, I left my gum under the seat. It's still here. And a report card from somebody's fourth grade class.
That's a bad look. I mean, I understand that jet probably just been repurposed and it's probably like just a private jet inside of someone else's fleet that they're actually just using.
Yeah, but still,
just to have the former president get on it, that's a bad look. It's a really bad look.
That's a really bad look.
Yeah.
Like he looked at the plane and was like, and it has his name on the side of it now. It said Trump on it.
Which one? The new one?
The new one.
Or the old one?
They got a picture of it.
Are you sure it's not the one that I'm just asking because
no.
You know what I'm saying? Because they saying this is one. So he owns that plane now?
Nah. He was just on it.
Okay. So but
I
yeah,
mean, it don't take nothing to wrap another plane.
Absolutely, you're right. But it's crazy, man, that they allow them to get that. He allowed his people to put him in a situation like this, to where this could even be a thing, and that you got an article to read about something like this, man.
Like, how you gonna go debate? Be like, yo, how did it feel being in Epstein's plane again?
That's all she got to say.
All she gotta say
again.
You know what I mean? We got you on the flight logs. We got you making calls to him at 3:00 in the morning.
Again. I mean, you gotta look at it like this. I know that his
Only
other.
Reason you're calling a dude that does sex trafficking at 3:00 in the morning because you're trying to get some traffic.
Talking about I wanted a massage. That's what he's like. Hey, I'm looking for some more of the massages I was getting. Like, I mean, you act like you don't have people locally who give good massages. I guess you had to call him for that.
Like, you ain't got a homie that you be like, yo, don't talk to me, talk to him.
Somebody to call for you.
I mean, if you've been doing it for years, you ain't gonna get caught. I mean, just like this, like, I'm gonna rent that plane. I know it's a good one.
It's crazy. I mean, at the same time,